Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was given the task of investigating employee network groups to see if this resource would help our company to retain employees, especially our diverse employees. So this week I will discuss employee network groups increases the level of diversity and inclusion. Employee network groups, also known as affinity groups or business network groups, are groups of employees who join together in their workplace based on shared characteristics or life experiences. Employee network groups are generally based on providing support, enhancing career development, and contributions to personal development in the work environment. In the past, ENG has traditionally been focused on personality traits or characteristics. For example, women, religious affiliations, sexual orientation. With the resurgence of employee network groups in the workplace, they are expanded to interest-based groups gathered around particular activities. Some of these include job responsibility, environmental advocacy, and community service, volunteerism, and workplace wellness. History of ENGs. ENGs got their start when Joseph Wilson, the CEO of Xerox Corporation, took action after the violent race riots in Rochester, New York in 1964. He and his black employees formed the first caucus group in order to address the issue of discrimination and to help create a fair corporate environment. Okay, I'd like to give a little bit more history on employment network groups. Xerox launched the National Black Employees Caucus in 1970. 10 years later, the creation of the Black Women's Leadership Caucus. Now, examples of organizations that are currently using employees network groups are Eli Lilly and Company, J.P. Morgan, and Sodex. Eli Lilly and Company currently have 8 groups, each which involved with personal, professional, networking, developing culture competencies, recruiting and employee training, and education. The company currently markets products in 156 countries and has affiliates in many of them. So the multicultural competency is a priority. So these organizational or employee network groups are used very extensively in helping Eli Lilly and Company recruit some of the best employees and also retain them. The next company is J.P. Morgan. They have 20,000 employees, and then they have 70 employee networking groups within the firm. And those employee networks help strengthen J.P. Morgan's culture by supporting the employees, promoting professional development, offering mentor opportunities, helping the employees understand the firm's culture. Then also it reinforced J.P. Morgan's commitment to inclusiveness and diversity. Some of the employee network groups function as a resource to the Corporate Diversity Council. That's just to name a few of what J.P. Morgan's employee network groups do. And then the last is Sodex. And Sodex employee network groups are a catalyst for ensuring a full, inclusive, and open environment that provides great opportunities for all employees to contribute to their business success. These network groups are organized by Solex employees who join together around a common dimension of diversity or business needs to provide personal growth for all employees, to provide educational and awareness for participants and other employees, and they drive the company's mission, core values, and diversity strategy. And again, that was just to name a few companies that use the employee network groups. I'd next like to discuss the benefits, recruitment, retention, talent development, and market outreach. A great example of recruitment is all of Diversity Inc.'s top 50 companies use their resource groups to recruit new members, and 5 years ago, only 75% of Diversity Incorporated's companies use the employees network groups. But now these companies realize how valuable an asset that these groups are for recruitment. Retention is another reason that these groups are highly valued. They keep the employee from leaving. Some employees before the network groups came along said they felt a disconnection or they felt as their careers had stalled. Research groups can address both aspects, and they can improve retention and identify cultural gaps that can prevent employees from realizing their goals and achieving high standards. Also provides safe spaces to discuss things that are important to those minority groups, and they offer mentors to guide them and give them constructive feedback. Another reason that the employee network groups have worked so well is talent development. These network employee groups are among the best sources of finding leadership talent and nurturing it. Also, many employees who might not have the right credentials to move up in management get a chance since they're developed into leadership roles through their resource groups. And the last benefit was market outreach. At many companies, especially consumer-facing ones, employee resource groups serve as a vital focus groups and inventors in terms of product placement, and understanding the marketplace. Now, just as there were some advantages, there are a few disadvantages. An example is to the employees. There are multiple disadvantages to the employees. Sometimes other employees resist the changing culture of the American workforce and the diversity that the employees network groups promote. People with these views often oppose to change, and then uncertainty follows. The discrepancy between the ideals of the groups and ideals of other employees has the potential to cause rifts. Also, another one is to the organization. There are some disadvantages to the organization. For example, the employee network groups can cause a potential strain between the relationships between the members, the groups, and upper management, and mainly because management have the ability to affect promised jobs or bonuses. That can cause a great problem. There are situations that have potentially arise in which these groups, people's participation in these groups have led to discrimination, And so one of the ways to combat that disadvantage is for the employee network groups to actually have some buy-in from upper management, um, gain trust of upper management, um, and forming an alliance with upper management in order to promote changes. And then last but not least, another disadvantage is the competition among the employee network groups. Within a lot of the organizations, the employee network groups compete for funding, and this competition can lead to various negative effects. Um, but the way around that, or the way to solve the problem, is for the employee network groups to be more supportive of one another, and the promotion and promote diversity within the workplace. Um, and that should clear up that problem there. Now, my recommendations are as follows. We should implement employee network groups to increase the level of diversity and inclusion within our organization, and this will improve employee retention and job satisfaction. But before we start creating our employee network groups, we should get support of the corporate execs, get their approval, gain their trust. Also, we should get the employees involved. And once we start to get the employees involved and we have corporate executives buy-in, we then need to develop a budget and secure funding. Now, these are the first 3 steps that we need to do to start implementing the employees network groups into our organization. Thank you very much for your time.